This is my Techno biography, and my name is Kathleen Gallatin, also Kat. My first technology that I owned, by myself, was, my parents got it for me. For Christmas, it was a Leapfrog Leap Pad, and it's kind of like an interactive iPad sort of, where you can see in the picture that you can use a stylus pen and tap on words that audio say it back to you. I got this for Christmas when I was 6 years old, which is approximately, around 2010, and then I stopped using it by the time I was 7 in 2011. My next piece was a home phone. My parents did have a landline in our home, and when I had learned how to memorize my mom's number, I called her all the time at work, and this was my only form of contact with the outside world, and it was really just for my mom and emergencies, and I used this from about 2010 to 2015. This is a pink DS. I used this from about 8 to 10 years old, from approximately 2012 to 2014. I would play this all the time with my friends. I loved the cooking games, the puppy game, the Nintendo puppy game. I liked coloring on it. And it was really just a form of entertainment for me. My parents had gotten a BlackBerry phone when it had first come out, and I was about 8 to 10 years old, and that was from 2012 to 2014 when I would use this. I really only used it again for emergencies, if they were at home, if I had to dial 911. But there was also a game that is unique to BlackBerry that I would play on it all the time. I don't remember the name anymore. Next, my dad had a desktop computer at his desk. I used this from 8 to 12 years old, approximately 2012 to 2016. I would play American Girl Doll University on it all the time, which was a game that you could play if you owned American Girl dolls, and it was kind of like an interactive game where you could buy things, you could go to school, they called it. It was really fun and a big part of my childhood. But I could also do schoolwork on it if I needed to. And overall, it was my dad's, but I had full access to it if I wanted it. I got my first personal iPhone at 11 years old when I first started middle school, and I had it from about 2015 to 2018. With this first phone, I had full access and connections to the outside world, so I could save contacts, text people, call people, use all the things that we have on our phones nowadays on this. This was the first piece of technology that I had social media on, such as Snapchat and Instagram, and yeah. Next, for Christmas, my dad had gotten me my own personal laptop and tablet I was about 11 to 13 years old when I used this, and that was in 2015 to 2018. I didn't use it all that much. I would really use it to watch things as I fell asleep, but this was also around the same time that my school system had started letting students use computers that we could take home. So I kind of had 2 laptops that I could use, and I preferred my school one. But also with my phone, I didn't really need a laptop anymore because I had other forms of entertainment. Like I mentioned previously, this was when I turned 13, kind of in the middle of middle school. all the way to 18 years old, which was 2015 to 2022, is when my school county system had started letting students use Dell Windows laptop computers. Throughout middle and high school, there were periods of time when we could take them home and they were our laptops, or we used them throughout the day and they stayed at school, or we only used them in one class. But all throughout my middle and high school career, I always had access to a school laptop where we did most of our assignments on, because we had also started using a program called It's Learning, where assignments were posted similar to Blackboard that we would do in class, or if we had to research or read, this was our form, or this was one of our forms of learning at that time. When I had turned 18 and graduated high school, I had invested in my own personal MacBook, which is what I use currently for college. Similar to the Dell laptop, I use my own personal laptop for recreational use, but also schoolwork, and as an education major, I also work with kids, so when I'm teaching, I use it to lesson plan. And yeah, this was my first personal investment into technology, but also with a MacBook, I can connect it to my iPhone and use it as a form of communication with friends and family. And I've used this from 2022 to the present. Next, the following year after my first year of college, I had invested in an iPad. So I had bought an iPad when I was 19 years old, and I use it currently. So that was about 2023 to present day. I don't really use my iPad that much. I thought I would use it a lot more when I bought it, but I do like the option if I have to work with two screens or go back between, say, like research and a paper that I'm writing. I use my iPad to open up a second window to be able to kind of use it as like a dual monitor, similar to that's how some people work with multiple screens. It really does help me to be able to visualize everything at once. So I do still appreciate my investment, but I don't think it was such a necessary one for my current position. And my current iPhone is an iPhone 14. It's the lavender one shown on the screen. I'm still on my parents' phone plan, and they had bought this for me when I was 17 years old, and I still use it currently, so that was 2021. Similar to my first iPhone, I use it to contact people, play games, social media, all that. And I included this just because it's funny to see how iPhones have progressed in such a short period of time. Honestly, like close to or even less than 10 years. Because when I had gotten my first phone in 2011, it was an iPhone 6S, which was one of like the first iPhones that came out, and now I have one of the newer ones, and they are still coming out with iPhones, so it's nice to see how they have changed and developed over the years. And then for my references, I just referenced the stock and Google images that are on my screens for my technology. And then all my memories and timelines, those are just from me. So thank you.